A single small capsule containing a natural substance can help protect your liver from the harmful effects of medications and various toxins that target this vital organ. Additionally, it can safeguard a fatty liver from progressing to fibrosis and, eventually, cirrhosis. You might be wondering, why would I need a natural substance to protect my liver? Does my liver really need extra protection? Isn't it capable of defending itself? Let's not forget that the liver is an organ responsible for neutralizing various toxins. And indeed, it performs this role exceptionally well, provided that the intensity of toxic exposure doesn't exceed its capacity and strength. Every day, common toxins are usually not an issue for the liver. The real problem arises when toxins reach the liver regularly and in larger amounts. That's when your liver can start facing serious challenges. An example of something that puts a strain on the liver is the use of various medications, especially those taken regularly. This is particularly true for medications that explicitly state in their package inserts that they may have a negative impact on the liver. Statins, anti-inflammatory drugs like methotrexate, antibiotics, medications for gout, antiviral drugs, antifungal medications, and many others weaken your liver's function. When taken regularly, they unfortunately place a significant burden on the liver. The solution to this situation is, of course, not to stop taking medications. Let me be clear, I'm not encouraging that. We must remember that in many cases, certain medications are essential for our survival. For example, medications for heart arrhythmia are often irreplaceable. What I do encourage, however, is learning about the incredible properties of a natural substance that can reduce the negative impact of various toxins on our liver, including those from medications. This substance, which I'll introduce in just a moment, is especially beneficial for people who take medications regularly. Because if we have to take medications, but at the same time we can avoid harming our liver, then why not take advantage of that opportunity? Dear viewers, the natural substance that has such an incredible impact on our liver is melatonin, also known as the sleep hormone. Melatonin, which is naturally produced by our body, is not only responsible for regulating sleep, but is also a powerful antioxidant. And it's precisely because of these antioxidant properties that melatonin supports our liver. It helps by neutralizing free radicals that are formed during the detoxification processes in the liver. Let's take a closer look at the evidence. In a 2013 study titled "The Effects of Melatonin on Elevated Liver Enzymes," during statin treatment, we read the following. The study involved 60 patients taking statins at doses ranging from 20 to 40 milligrams per day. One group was also given melatonin alongside their statin treatment, which led to a significant reduction in liver enzymes that had been elevated by the statins. As the researchers themselves concluded, melatonin has a protective effect on the liver in patients taking statins. So, in this scientific study, the researchers divided participants into two groups. The first group took only statins, which are medications for high cholesterol. The second group took both statins and melatonin. The group that took statins and melatonin at the same time avoided the negative effects of statins on the liver. Unfortunately, the group that took only statins did not. To sum it up in one sentence, melatonin has a protective effect on the liver against statins. All right, so far we've talked about the protective effects of melatonin on the liver, essentially how it helps prevent liver damage. But what about cases where the liver is already compromised, such as in the early stages of liver disease? Specifically, let's talk about fatty liver disease. Fatty liver disease, let me remind you, is a common condition in modern society due to our lifestyle, particularly the diets we follow. It's important to remember that untreated fatty liver disease can progress to liver fibrosis. And while fatty liver disease is a reversible condition, liver fibrosis and eventually cirrhosis is not always reversible. And here's an important note. The best way to address fatty liver disease is through weight loss. However, looking at the statistics, we know this is not an easy task, as losing weight is far from a simple process. This is where melatonin can once again come to our aid. Melatonin can help protect the liver from progressing from fatty liver disease to fibrosis, and eventually to cirrhosis. In a 2020 study titled "The Effect of Melatonin on the Treatment of Patients with Non-Alcoholic Fatty Liver Disease," we read the following. Administering melatonin at a dose of 6 milligrams per day led to improvements in several factors associated with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This gives us evidence that in human studies, a daily dose of 6 milligrams of melatonin significantly improved the course of fatty liver disease. I also mentioned that melatonin has another very important property. It reduces the likelihood of fatty liver disease progressing to cirrhosis. For those who may not know, let me remind you, the final stage of fatty liver disease is cirrhosis. As we read in a 2019 study titled "The Protective Role of Melatonin in the Early and Late Stages of Liver Cirrhosis," we read the following. As we have discussed, melatonin is an effective antioxidative and anti-inflammatory agent for eliminating cirrhotic liver injury and has great potential for application in the pharmaceutical industry. For the sake of accuracy, it's important to note that some of the studies analyzed in the context of cirrhosis were conducted, at least in part, on animals. What does this mean? It means that we can be confident about melatonin's positive effects on fatty liver disease and liver fibrosis, as these are supported by studies conducted on humans. However, when it comes to cirrhosis, from an administrative and scientific standpoint, the strength of the evidence is unfortunately not as robust. And now, the million-dollar question. Should we all start taking melatonin from today to protect our liver? Of course not. First and foremost, this option should be considered by people who cannot stop taking medications regularly. That's the first point. The second point is that if someone decides to use melatonin, it's important to remember that, as the sleep hormone, melatonin will make you feel drowsy. That's why it should be taken in the evening, about 1 hour before bedtime. It just so happens that medications prescribed for certain conditions are most often taken by seniors. Seniors are also more likely to struggle with insomnia. And this is where melatonin can have a dual effect. First, protecting the liver, and second, supporting better sleep. Of course, this brings up the question of dosage. How much melatonin should be taken? As is often the case, this is a highly individual matter. Some people respond well to a dose of 0.5 milligram, while others may only see results with 3 or 4 milligrams. However, the golden standard, when it comes to improving the process of falling asleep, ranges from 0.5 milligram to 3 milligrams, taken about an hour before bedtime. On the other hand, protective doses for the liver typically range from 3 to 6 milligrams of melatonin per day. For some people, unfortunately, a dose of 6 milligrams might be too high. Your body will let you know by making you feel overly drowsy. So, what should you do in that case? In that situation, we simply follow a very straightforward principle. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. If your body tolerates a dose of 2 milligrams best, stick with it. Even that dose will provide some protective effect for your liver. It might not be as strong as 6 milligrams, but it's still something. And that's all for today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who might benefit from it. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and stay healthy.